This might be a great time for maybe if you have any general like mock interview tips, or maybe I should say interview tips. Like how would you advise someone prepare for their interview? Maybe some things like communication and dress, perhaps, and then everyone will switch into the mock interviews in just a moment.
Sounds great. So, some general things to keep in mind. Preparation is so important here, but it's preparing effectively. So, think about some of the things that we've brought up, these questions that officers are thinking about. Why is this person wanting to go to school? How does it make sense in their sort of overall professional plan and journey? What have they been doing before this? And how do they plan to use this education after they finish it? So maybe write those answers down. Write it down the way, this is how I like to say it. If you were explaining it to your favorite auntie, that's the way that I want you to answer that question. Not using, visa language or, sort of fancy big words, because what's most important is that the officer understands what your plans are and why you want to pursue them. And so using the language that's very clear and direct can truly help the officer do it. If you write down your answers, practice them. Now, the challenge with practicing is you want to practice enough so that you feel confident that if the officer asks you a question, you're ready with the answer, but not so much that you start to sound memorized, like Claire and I were talking about a little bit ago. So it's a bit of a balance. And this is why I highly recommend practicing out loud with another person. And importantly, this should be somebody who is going to be honest with you if maybe you're starting to ramble a little bit, or maybe they can't quite follow what you're trying to say. So maybe not your mom, because as mothers, we think everything our children do is perfect. You want someone who's going to be honest with you and say, I'm not quite sure I followed what you said there. If they're struggling to follow you, so will the consular officer. So you can practice this, and then to feel, the more that you practice, the more confident most people feel. And confidence is so important in these interviews. When we are confident, we stand up straighter, we look the officer in the eye, and as much as possible, we're able to have a conversation with the officer instead of feeling like it's an interrogation by the officer. When it comes to dressing, you do not need to wear a suit and tie or anything like that, unless that's what makes you feel most confident. What I encourage people to do is pick out your favorite outfit, the one that makes you feel like you can conquer the world. You look fantastic in it and you feel good about yourself, because that will come through. Now, it's important to remember that these can be very long days, and so should have something that's comfortable, right, that you can sit in all day. Maybe not what you would wear out to the club, right? This is a bit of a business environment, but wear something that you feel represents who you are and makes you feel good about yourself. That is absolutely, give yourself as much confidence as you can. And that will really carry through in the interview.